1 year ago today exactly, the Gemini Jets Delta Connection CRJ-900 was released. And with this being possibly the most hotly anticipated model aircraft re-release of all time, came a huge wave of excitement, criticism, and drama. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the 1 year review of the Delta Connection CRJ-900. Let's get started. What is up there, everybody? Citrus Aviation here for yet another video, and today we are going to talk about the Delta Connection CRJ-900, which was released exactly a year ago from today. March the 17th, 2021 was the release date of this plane. It is now March the 17th, 2022. So what do you need to know about this airplane, and why did it cause such drama when it was released? To understand all the drama that occurred around this plane's release, we need to understand the aircraft itself. This is a Delta Connection CRJ-900, and this release represents the SkyWest variant. Delta Connection operates a gigantic fleet of CRJ-900s, somewhere around 312 aircraft in the fleet total, which is quite large. And they are the largest CRJ-900 operator in the world. So, considering this fact, you would think that model aircraft of this very popular plane would be fairly common. However, that is not the case, due to the fact that, as of right now, there have only been 2 Delta CRJ-900s ever released, and 200 at 400 scale, in the standard livery. The very first release came out all the way back in 2008. That one was November 679 Charlie Alpha, which was a Comair registered aircraft. I had that model and it's pretty nice. I like it quite a bit. I have it in both 200 and 400 scale, and I like both models. And then soon thereafter, they did a Comair 30 years livery, which was an awesome plane. I have that in 400 scale as well. It's a nice plane. And then after that, it was really silent for a long time because no Delta CRJ-900s were made after that. And so we went on for 12 years with no Delta CRJ-900 releases. And then starting towards the tail end of 2020, something weird started to happen, where these Delta CRJ-900s started to sell for big money.
$1,000.
Another one.
$1,600.
Bruh.
I am beyond dumbfounded.
$1,600 on November 30th.
Now, for quite some time, this original Gemini Jets release had been increasing in value for quite some time because of the high demand for Delta CRJ-900 model and the rarity of the plane. So, with high demand and low quantity comes high prices, and so these were averaging somewhere between $100 to $250 on eBay for a nice example of a Delta CRJ-900, and even not that great examples were selling for $90 to $100 anyway. However, in late 2020, with the insane price increases of the Delta CRJ-900s, with 2 having been confirmed to have sold for over $1,000, including someone who actually paid $1,600 for the plane, really showed the need for a new Delta CRJ-900 release. And I believe it is this situation that actually caused Gemini Jets to actually finally decide to release the plane. Now, supposedly, the new release Delta and American Eagle CRJ-900s, with a lot of other regional jets that have been released since as well, had been in the plans from Gemini Jets since around 2017-2018. They started working on the next batch of regional jets. The Delta and American CRJ-900s ended up being the first in this new wave of regional jets that we've been getting for the last year, and I hope that trend continues. There's still a few more we need to get, like the American Eagle CRJ-700. And so the Delta CRJ-900 was released on March the 17th, 2021, with their March 2021 release set, which was one of the best releases that they have ever had. In fact, I would say it's the top 10 release. Considering that there have been a lot of really good releases, that's pretty impressive. And so, when this release came out and this plane was in that release, a lot of people went completely bonkers. And, well, very excited, obviously, because one had not been released in 13 years. It's been 13 years since the last regularly Delta CRJ-900 release. So understandably, every single person went out and tried to buy one if they could, if they were, in the 400 scale collecting hobby. Now, some people, including myself, decide they wanted more than one. Personally, I wanted to get somewhere between 6 to 10 because I'm trying to do Atlanta. There's a lot of CRJ-900s in Atlanta, and I always really liked the plane, and I walk on them as a ramp agent for Delta. So I really wanted the model. To, be a reminder of the plane that I walk on every single day. So several people, including myself, tried to buy as many as we could. Now, our strategy behind the orders was to order from as many stores as possible and buying maybe 3 or 4 from each store, with the hope that we at least get one. And then if we don't get all those, that'll be fine. We'll try and get as many from each store as possible. Now, this ended up in some very interesting controversies, including my video that I made, which kind of blew up, which was why I ordered 27 Delta Connection CRJ-900s. I would eventually end up ordering 31, as later on I found the opportunity when the models came in stock to actually buy some, because Gemini Jets' official website had some in stock for about a week, and so I bought 3 from there, and then I bought another one from a Canadian retailer who had one in stock. So I was able to eventually get 4 from that way when they actually came in stock, but out of the 27 that I ordered, I only ever received 2. One from Panda Fox Toys, and the second one from DG Pilot, which was my first experience buying from them, and I've bought from DG Pilot ever since because they have been a great store. Now, of course, some individuals like myself who bought a lot of these caused a lot of controversy. Some of the people claimed that those of us who were buying a lot of them were buying them to be scalpers on eBay, and there were some people who did that. And then the other argument that people made was, well, you're buying them so that no one else can buy them. Well, the issue with this argument is that if you really wanted the plane, and you've always wanted a Delta CRJ-900, you would have saved up for it, because this plane has not been released for 13 years. So you had 13 years, up to 13 years to save for this new one. And then if you really, really wanted the plane, you would have bought it right away when it came out, or you would have found a way to buy it. Now, this plane sold out very quickly from retailers, and it was sold out within 18 hours of its official release. However, because a lot of retailers overestimated how many would be made, the reality is this plane probably in actuality sold out within 2 hours. 1 or 2 hours this plane actually sold out with the quantity that was actually going to be delivered. And so a lot of people did not get their orders for the CRJ-900. And anyone who ordered more than one got the order reduced to 1. So that's the thing where my strategy of buying as many as possible didn't necessarily mean I was going to get more. It just meant that I was probably going to get 1 from the retailers I ordered. I think I ordered from 5 different retailers, and I only ended up getting 1 from 2 retailers. So buying a lot did not prove to be a huge advantage for me, and all the other planes I'd ordered I did not get, I did get refunded for, so it was what it was. But the thing is, Gemini Jets also stepped in to make the situation as bad as possible by safting retailers. Now, what is a safting of a retailer? So when a new release comes out, the store that you buy from, say in this case DG Pilot, they put the pre-orders up for sale and they see how many people buy them. And then let's say after a week, let's say for the Delta CRJ-900 they had 200 orders. So they go back to Gemini Jets and say, okay, we have a request for 200 of these planes. We would like to have them fulfilled. And then Gemini Jets receives their request from all the retailers, and then Gemini Jets decides how they're going to fulfill those orders. Now, Gemini Jets' decision was in order to fulfill the high demand, which from my estimation, there was probably somewhere around 8,000 to 10,000 Delta CRJ-900s ordered by collectors from the pre-orders. Even in the only 18 hours it took, there were thousands of these planes ordered from lots of collectors who want them. And Gemini Jets had the solution of, well, we're just not going to make many. So they ended up probably in total only making around 1,000 to 2,000 of these Delta CRJ-900s. And so they ended up being like, well, you retailer DG Pilot, you're going to get 6 planes. And then another retailer might get 4, and another might get 10, or something like that, which was nowhere near enough to meet the demand of the customers who were buying them. And in addition, Gemini just decided to make this issue even more difficult by deciding to split up the few that they were making into 2 separate batches. The first batch came with the March releases. The second half of the batch came with the April releases. And this is another argument that I try to make with people who said, well, I wasn't able to get it because you bought too many. Well, you actually had 3 opportunities to buy the plane. You had them when the plane was released. You had it when the first batch came in, and you could have bought it officially from the Gemini Jets website. So if you were that desperate to buy it, you would have bought it from their website, and it was available for an entire week. And third, you had the opportunity to buy it when it came back in stock in May, when the April releases arrived. So you had 3 opportunities to buy it. If you didn't buy it, it's pretty much your own fault at that point, because you weren't really that interested in the plane. I'm just saying it the way it is. So a lot of retailers had to refund people for a lot of planes that they ordered. In fact, in many cases, a lot of people ended up getting no planes. However, the retailers decided they would prioritize people based on how soon they ordered, which is another reason why if there's a really highly anticipated model aircraft, you want to order it as soon as possible, so you will be first in line to get it. In addition, every retailer reduced orders down to 1, so regardless of how many planes you ordered, you would end up getting just 1 CRJ-900 if you were within, say, the first 6 orders. So that means a lot of people got shafted. Even though I ordered really early, a bunch of retailers just told me, well, you're just not going to get them because you weren't quick enough to order. So things like that happen. But I was still really excited for the plane. And so everybody hotly anticipated the arrival of the aircraft. And so in early April, the pictures for these releases came out, the official Gemini Jets pictures. And they showed a plane which has a couple of issues. And so some of these issues started to appear, particularly when people started to get the models at their own places. These have been 2 basic issues, but there have been some other quality issues that the models have had. The other quality issues have mostly been with engine placement not being quite right. Some of the engines have been slightly more forward than the others, which looks really weird on some of these planes. But the 2 big issues were the placement of the main landing gear and the positioning of the horizontal stabilizers. So we're going to start with the horizontal stabilizers first, because this is the most obvious and easiest to tell that they're on. Here is what a Delta CRJ-900 looks like. You can see the horizontal stabilizers, they're approximately level to the horizon. In fact, in a little bit they kind of tip downwards a little bit, tip towards the ground. However, here is what the model airplane looks like. And you can see Gemini Jets decided to do the very opposite. So instead of the horizontal stabilizers being approximately level to the ground, in fact maybe pointing towards the ground a little bit, you can see they point up like they're the wings on a bird or something like that. It just looks really, really dumb. And it's very, very unrealistic to the real aircraft. The real CRJ-900 does not look like that at all. And so this was a huge issue that a lot of people had. In fact, it even cost a lot of people to make videos on how to fix this. So in order to fix it, you have to disassemble your model, pull out the horizontal stabilizers, which does risk damaging the model, and then reinsert them in the correct way, because Gemini Jets have basically inserted them in incorrectly. They basically put the horizontal stabilizers in upside down. So some people take them out, just flip them over, put them in correctly, and that would fix the issue. And so that was the first of the major 2 issues. In addition, the main gears are incorrectly positioned, because here is what the main gear setup on a CRJ-900 looks like. Here is what the model looks like, and basically, once again, they flipped the main landing gear from the gears facing outward to the gears facing inward, and to the point where literally, if this was a real plane, the landing gears could literally never retract, because they would literally retract into each other and then they would crash, and it wouldn't be good. And so Gemini just decided that this was acceptable. Keep in mind that a model aircraft manufacturer like this has people in their factories whose job it is to ensure that the quality of the models is accurate. In fact, not only that, in many cases, these manufacturers will send pictures of what the actual plane looks like in production form. And if the company that's ordering the manufacturing of the model is not satisfied, they can have them go back and redo it to meet satisfaction. Gemini just decide, this is fine, we'll just ship it out as is. Definitely shows a huge lack of interest in making the models as accurate as possible, and a huge negligence in terms of their quality control. In fact, this issue persisted on the American Eagle CRJ-900, which was released the following month, and a few other releases that they made. And now it seems like they have fixed this issue on the CRJs with some of the newer releases. The Scandinavian Air Service CRJ-900 has fixed it. The Delta Connection CRJ-700 has fixed it. But it still has been issued these two planes, the most hotly anticipated re-release and the most hotly anticipated release, which we'll talk about when the American Eagle CRJ-900 turns a year old. It was definitely not the plane to make these mistakes on, because if you make these mistakes on these planes, you're going to have a lot of very angry people. And so this model is very rare, very difficult to get, turned out to have a lot of flaws, which was a huge issue for the plane. When I reviewed the plane, I ended up reviewing it after I had the models for 6 months, and I ended up giving the score a 78 out of 100, which is one of the worst scores I've given to a model aircraft ever. You can see the score here. The packaging was pretty good, the mold not so good, the accuracy not so good due to some of the errors. The paint is actually really good on this plane. It's actually very accurate to the real plane, considering it's a 400 scale model of the CRJ-900. It's a very tiny model, and so overall the paint is actually really accurate. I think I found just one issue with the paint. The landing gear, of course, not very good due to the issue it had. Aerials, this model doesn't have aerials. It just had some painted ones on it, so a little bit less of a score, which is kind of sad because the JC Wings mold, which Gemini Jets has access to, has antennas. So they could have put antennas on this plane, but they decided not to. Features, well, it's just, regional jet models, not going to have a lot of features, not going to have flaps down or come with a stand or anything like that. Wings and engine, those were actually pretty good. The wings looked very accurate to a real CRJ-900, and the engines were pretty good except for some QC issues. Quality, of course, is terrible. I give that a 6 out of 10. And the collectability, this is probably one of the few models I'd ever give an 11 out of 10 to, but collectability, obviously 10 out of 10. This model has very quickly started selling for $200 or more on eBay. In fact, when this plane was up for pre-order, people were selling pre-order slots for this plane for $200 on eBay, which is ridiculous. And then once the model got in stock, these started selling on eBay for $120, and then that price has stayed about the same. In fact, it's gone up a little bit more to closer to $200 now if you want to get this release of the CRJ-900, which is the flawed one. This is not even the good one, and this one costs about $200, or $120, $200, depending on the model and the seller. But this plane's become very expensive, but it has been a nice plane for the collection. I'm very happy that Gemini Jets made it, because finally we have a Delta CRJ-900 that I was able to actually get a bunch of to be able to make my personal Atlanta, Hartsfield, Jackson, Raleigh-Durham, and eventually Des Moines International Airport. So these models are really nice, and they're great for the collection, and is the plane worth $120 to $200? I'd say it isn't. Not particularly when the old release exists and you can buy the old release for about the same price as this one. The old release just doesn't have the quality issues that this one has, so it's not quite as accurate. The paint isn't quite as good, but overall the model looks a bit better, so I still prefer the old release to this one. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the 1 year recap for this plane. It's a really complex relationship between me and this airplane, because I love the plane itself in real life, but the new model has left some things to be desired. So what did you think of this video essay style video? I've been making a bunch of these recently where I talk about some topics in the model aviation community. Do you want me to do more of this style video? Let me know in the comments below. I've already done a few of these, like I did one on the new NG Models Collectors Rewards program, and I would love to do more like it in the future. So let me know if you want me to be doing more videos like this. And yeah, hopefully we'll probably do one for the American Eagle CRJ-900 release when that turns a year old. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, have a great rest of your day, and God bless you.